Hey everybody, it's the Fricken Film Critic here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the movie 21 Jump Street with the numbers 2 and 1, and the Jump Street. Jump Street part's not a number, but 21 is. So 21 Jump Street is about a pair of cops played by Jonah and Channing Tatum who go undercover as high school students in order to stop a supplier of a new synthetic drug that has gone viral. The movie is an action comedy that is, at heart, a movie about two friends who try to overcome their differences in order to stop a drug operation. And it's that aspect of 21 Jump Street that really makes it work. The two leads played by Jonah and Channing Tatum, I know I already said their names, are great in this movie. Did I say great? I meant really great. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that these two are hysterical on screen. The two have really solid chemistry that eventually makes for some really funny back and forth dialogue between the two. And not just the typical fuck you dialogue that most movies these days are trying to sell as genuine dialogue between friends, but dialogue that is actually funny and, you know, kind of heartfelt. Like I said, they were great. So is everyone else in this movie. The Rob Riggle, Ellie Kemper as the teacher, and everybody in this movie is really great. But let's not give all the credit to the actors. Let's also give it to the writer who wrote all of this great, witty dialogue. Who is this writer, you may ask? Well, I'll tell ya! It was Bacall, the writer of Scott Pilgrim and, unfortunately, Project X. I never saw the 80s TV show on which this movie was based, but I can only assume that there has to be an enormous amount of creativity put into the story to actually make it go as far as it went, and, you know, in terms of actual story. Because, you know, being that it was a television show, I'm assuming, you know, they had boundaries, and they couldn't go too far out of those boundaries. That's why they have boundaries. So yeah, it definitely took some creativity to go where this movie actually went, on both a written level and on a cinematic level. That being said, the directors of this movie, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, definitely went a very creative route when actually going about directing this movie. Something that made it more than just your average run-of-the-mill conventional action comedy. They tried to put some really cool things in here that were very reminiscent of things like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World in terms of the way they chose to put certain effects in certain places. Like, they tried to describe the different stages of the actual drug itself. And it was really cool and creative the way they actually chose to do that. A lot of the visual appeal for this movie derives from the fact that it's very, you know, much trying to create some sort of an homage to 80s action movies. And it does so in a very successful manner because I got that feeling, and I know that that's the feeling they were going for. It's really funny, it's got some great casting, it's got some great writing, direction, it's great everything. I personally can't find too many flaws in it other than the fact that occasionally the jokes didn't always work, and towards the end of the film it got a little bit messy with its actual climax and action scenes, but it was still pretty great, and I'm going to give 21 Jump Street, because of my level of enjoyment when watching the movie, 4.5 out of 5 stars. So, if you very much enjoyed this review, I'm going to ask that you subscribe up there. In one of these places is going to have a subscription button. So if you'd like to subscribe, go ahead. You know, this is all non-profit. It's a non-profit organization I'm trying to create here. So, peace and love, brother. Peace and love.